Now it's on, right? If I pull it down far enough, you might be able to see my face. I'm not sure. Oh, hush. All right. Good afternoon, folks. For those of you who may not know who I am, I'm Melinda Uzell, chair of your Independent Living Residence Council Fitness and Wellness Education Committee. On behalf of the committee, we welcome you and are very pleased that you're here. Actually, I'm thrilled that there are so many folks that were able to be with us. Perhaps you're thinking at last. We've been reminded of this for a long, long time. Well, there was a method to our madness. If you remember the logo that's on all of the posters, it's Before I Forget. So we wanted to remind you over and over and over again so that you would be here. All right, is that better? Okay, well, I'm not going to repeat myself. Y'all can tell them what I said. Special thanks go to Don Charnock for... Sorry. It's okay. There are some disadvantages to being short. Special thanks go to Don Charnock for his creative talent in designing and producing the beautiful posters to promote this effort. And Don, I'm not sure where you are, and I can't see you with my glasses on. But would you all please give an applause to Don for his creativity. I also have an extra special thanks to give to our IT department for their cooperation. We did not plan to televise this event. Since this is such a personal subject, it was decided to make it an in-person program. Little did we anticipate the current COVID situation, so just this morning they got everything connected for this to be televised and taped for Katie. If you're watching on TV, we would love to know that you join the audience. And if you would, stop by Melissa's office and say, I watched it on TV, or somebody on the committee, just share it with them. The other thing, too, is because this was a last-minute thing, we're hoping that everything gets televised like we planned it. If it doesn't, for those of you out in TV land, forgive us, we're doing the best we can on short notice. This is the first in the 3-program series with a focus on brain health, one of the top issues identified in the top 7 concerns of the over 65 population. We hope you will attend all the sessions and become inspired to learn more about recent research, the across-the-board team efforts in place here at Covenant Woods, and resources and activities to help you take steps to protect and improve the health of your brain. Our first step as we began to plan for these sessions was to discuss it with our new CEO. I thank him for his support and his encouragement for us to move forward with this project. So at this time, I invite Dr. Tom Wright to come forward to kick off the series. Dr. Wright.
Good afternoon and welcome. Thank you, Melinda, and the Fitness and Wellness Education Committee for creating this outstanding series about brain health. Thomas Edison said, the chief function of the body is to carry the brain around. Sitting on our shoulders is a complicated and mysterious object. Science has only discovered a fraction of the capabilities that our brains have. We are indeed fearfully and wonderfully made. In my practice of preventive wellness, I've learned and experienced the integral connection between mind, body, and spirit, and how we think of ourselves and the world around us, and what we feed our brains to digest on a daily basis often determines how we feel. In my service to elders, I've learned a lot about neuroplasticity and the benefits of exercising the mind. Retirees are some of the busiest, curious people I know. Lifelong learning is a significant factor in successful aging. As Henry Ford said, the most important thing in life is to keep the brain young. Having had a few concussions myself over the years, I have a deep appreciation for brain health, and am in awe of its amazing ability to heal and to work around even the most devastating conditions. As an advocate for people living with dementia and Alzheimer's, I often speak to the tremendous benefit of focusing on the strengths and abilities that remain rather than what has been lost. Author Emily Dickinson said, "The brain is wider than the sky," and that is so true. There's still so much to learn about the brain, and this series you're about to experience will fill you with awe and wonder, practical information, and inspiration. Please join me in giving Alinda and her committee an endorphin boost, which is vital food for the brain and soul, by giving them a round of applause. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Up next, we will have a fellow resident, Miss Alinda Solopka. Excuse me, Andrea Solopka. I'm so sorry. She's going to come up here and give us our story about how she learned to engage her brain as well as her body. Come on up.
I have to tell you that I'm sitting in this chair because when I first agreed to do this. Oh, my microphone. Sorry. It's on. Okay. I was still suffering from my pains and not able to get around very well and not able to do much at all. So I had to really quickly change my story because I have gone to the National Neuropathy Clinic and they have pronounced me 90% cured. I have only 4 more sessions and then I'm done. So I'm excited about that. And now I have to really focus on the real purpose of the reason why I'm here. I was on my way down to the doctor's. I had some problems with my fingers and hands, and I didn't know what it was. Someone recommended a particular doctor downtown. But I got about halfway there one day, and I couldn't figure out where I was or where I was going, where I should be, what I should do. And I had my GPS, but I couldn't read the GPS. I don't know what happened. I don't know why. I still don't know why. Well, I mean, I do know why now, but I didn't know then. And it was really scary to me. And I drove around a little more, thinking that, well, I'll just get hold of myself and I'll be okay. That was not true. And I finally pulled into an apartment parking lot, and there were a group of young men gathered together, and I thought, well, they'll know where I should be, and maybe they'll help me. And I walked over to them, and I told them what had happened. And fortunately for me, they were terrific young men. And one got in a car in front of me, one got in a car behind me, and they kind of took me to the doctor's office. Wonderful. And I was very fortunate in that, in the fact that I met these people. Got to the doctor's office, took care of all of that stuff, and by that time, I was feeling better. So I was able to say to myself, well, that was just a fluke. That's nothing. I don't need to be worried about that. And I got home, and everything was fine. And I went about my business. I was busy doing stuff here and at church and all the places where I do things. And I didn't think about it again. And then all of a sudden, my grandson, 7 years old, said to me, "Mimi, don't you love me anymore? You never can remember my name." And I didn't even know that I wasn't remembering his name. So I decided that it was time to see a doctor and find out what was going on. I went to my primary care. She sent me to a neurologist, and the neurologist was very straightforward with me, very honest, looked me in the eye and said, "I am just about positive you have dementia, but we're going to do some testing to find out what's going on." And I didn't say it out loud, but in my mind I was saying, oh, no, we're not. I'm not doing that. There can't be anything wrong with me. She was right. They did an MRI. It showed that I had early onset dementia. It showed that there were parts of my brain already damaged from all of this. And it showed that this had been going on for quite some time, and I had no idea. If I had had an idea, I would have gone to the doctor much earlier, but I didn't do it. Then she said, after the MRI, she said, I want you to make another appointment, come in to see me. She happened to be a wonderful, wonderful neurologist. She said, I want you to bring your closest family members with you. So I brought my son and my daughter-in-law, who also couldn't believe it because I looked pretty normal. They didn't know what was going on inside of me. So we went to the next appointment, and she said to me, now I've set up a testing program for you, and we want you to take all of these tests. It'll take about 3 hours. Your daughter-in-law and son can wait for you out in the hall, and as soon as you're done, we'll talk about them because they'll grade them right away for you, and they did. And I did so bad on those tests that I, again, wanted to say, this has to be wrong. This could not be me. I couldn't have done this. I was on the honor roll, and that's all I was thinking about. You know, I was thinking it's impossible that I could have this kind of issue. So we sat down, and the doctor, the neurologist, looked at us, and she said, there's a whole lot going on with you that we need to take care of, and it's going to take your family to help you, and you're going to need to do a lot of things to get ahead of this. And so because my family was sitting there and because I knew that they loved me, I agreed to do anything that they wanted me to do, and I was happy to do it. I went, she told me, first of all, that I needed to do PT, and I'm not an exercise girl, so that was like, oh no. And then she, I know you're laughing. Then she said that I would need to do speech and language therapy, and I loved that because that is something I knew that I could do. And I did, I can't remember the number of weeks I did, but I worked hard. And when I was done with the speech and language, I had it downloaded to my iPad, and I did every single morning when I got up. First thing I did was 2.5, 3 hours of work on that. I did everything that they told me to do. And it wasn't easy, but it was easy because I knew it was making me better, and that helped me. And so I kept doing it. Next time I went back, and she was good about only telling me one bad thing at each time. She didn't load them all up on me at once. And so the next time that I went back, she said to me, now we've got to work on your diet. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I don't like food. I like ice cream. I like potato chips. I like candy. And I thought to myself, I can't do this. She wanted me to eat fish. Can you imagine? That was terrible to me. So she did. She put me on the Mediterranean diet, and I tried it. And I guess I would have, if I was still teaching, I would have given myself a C- on that diet. But it all helped me. It all helped me. It all made a difference. It is why I can sit here and talk to you all now. It's never gone. It's never going away. It's never getting fixed, and I know that. But I can still be. I can still be me, and that's so important for all of us. It's so important for us to know that it's not the end of the road. It is the beginning of a new type of you, and you can be just fine with it, but you got to work hard. You have to work hard, and I'm here to tell you that I don't want any of you to do what I did. I want all of you to be smarter than I was. I want you to think about yourself. I want you to go to the doctor. I want you to feel like it's okay to forget things. I found my remote in my refrigerator probably 6 or 7 times before I admitted that I had put it there. Well, it's true, you know, but I didn't want to admit those things. And it doesn't make sense, really. My purpose today, sitting here, is to encourage any of you who struggle with memory issues to follow through and learn the real truth about your brain. I don't recommend that you behave the way I did because I wasted way too much time. And I still, my grandson, my 7-year-old grandson, said to me, still says to me, Mimi, remember when you forgot my name all the time? And it was like, oh no. But he's glad I don't do that anymore. I was determined to show the doctor that I could do what she was asking me to do. I knew in my heart and soul that she wouldn't ask me to do it if I couldn't do it. And so I worked and worked and worked, and I have been able to, I don't live everything I used to live, but I can do a whole lot more than I was expecting. I was afraid that I was going to be not good anymore, not helpful to anybody, not able to do the things that I wanted to do for the people I know. So remember that. If I can do it, and I'm not so smart, so if I can do it, y'all can do it. You really can. And I can't tell you enough how grateful I am to the people and the doctors and the people who gave the tests and all those things. They have been so patient. And without my family, I couldn't have done a bit of this. So I'm going to close right there. And I'm happy to answer questions later on for anybody who has questions. But know that it's not the end. It's not the end. It's so far away from the end. This has been 3 years that I know this, that I have learned things that I have learned. And I find myself able to do all the things I used to do and even a couple more here and there along the way. So you can too. You can too. You're probably all smarter than me, so I know you will. But thank you for listening, and know that life is still good.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. I was saying that next up, we're going to have representatives from Advanced Care Therapy, which is right here on campus in the basement. So Stephanie Stevens and Kelly Jones is going to come up and talk to you all now.
Good afternoon. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull it down. I have that short syndrome too. Thank you for inviting us to talk to you. I think it's very important to hear the stories and understand what's going on. It's not easy to understand when you have memory problems or you've been diagnosed with dementia. And there's so many different versions of it. You can't look at somebody and say, I'm gonna do what they do, because everybody is affected differently. And it affects your whole body. Like Andrea said, she got a referral for physical therapy and speech therapy because your mind and your brain affects your whole body. It tells everything what to do, where you put your foot, how to get out of a chair, just to remember that you have to go and eat. So there's so many things that are affected by your brain that sometimes you have to break it down a little bit and figure out what you need to focus on to keep your independence. So we have different programs that are available. We have physical therapy that everybody knows and loves and comes and sees us and lets us torture you. But we also have occupational therapy and speech therapy, and I don't think those are as well known, or maybe a little bit more fearful because nobody wants to admit they have some memory problems. I don't think anybody that does admit it, I think they're a hero because it takes a lot of strength to do it. And like Andrea said, it is another phase to life. Just as we had to learn how to raise our children, we had to do it differently than when we only had to worry about ourselves. With the dementia and memory problems, we have to learn another way of living our life and making the most of it. Because just because you have a dementia diagnosis doesn't mean that this is it. People can live long, healthy lives with it. And there's many things out there and many tests that we do and lots of training that we can provide to you that can help you deal with it and figure out a way to make your life work so you can still go visit your family. You can still go out to dinner with your friends. Life doesn't end with dementia. It's a new beginning. It's just a new way of learning how to live. Kelly's with us today, and she's going to talk a little about what occupational therapy and speech therapy does, because I'm pretty sure everybody knows what physical therapy is. And occupational therapy and speech therapy, it's amazing what they can do to help your brain. So, Kelly?
All right. So, how can occupational therapy and speech therapy help you with your cognitive decline? It is recognized that some changes in cognitive function, such as processing speed, forgetfulness, and decreased attention, happens, and that they're a part of normal aging. However, when we consider that 1 in 10 adults over the age of 65 has Alzheimer's disease, as stated by the Alzheimer's Association, it's not surprising that an overgeneralized belief that the development of cognitive deficits which impact an individual's daily functioning, safety, independence, and general quality of life is normal. It's untreatable and process of aging. The process with this is that it's over-acceptance of cognitive change that the older adults may lead to many individuals with cognitive impairments actually not receiving the care that they need or deserve. Many healthcare providers are aware that although we are not currently able to reverse or stop the progression of Alzheimer's or dementia, there is a variety of interventions that can assist with slowing the process of cognitive decline and promote increased ability to cope with the illness. There is evidence to support the benefit of medication use, participation with physical exercise, behavioral and environmental modifications, and both speech therapy and occupational therapy in the treatment of Alzheimer's and dementia. Although the awareness of speech therapy and occupational therapy benefits for individuals with dementia is growing throughout the healthcare community, individuals at every stage of the disease can actually benefit from this intervention. We're going to talk a little bit about mild cognitive impairment. So mild cognitive impairment is just a generalized term that is most commonly defined as a subtle but measurable memory disorder that can be associated with many diseases, including diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, obesity, and depression, just to name a few. It is imperative to treat the associated disorder to promote the resolution of the cognitive impairment. However, even with the appropriate medical treatment, impairments do not always resolve as quickly or completely as one would hope. At this point, both speech therapy and occupational therapy can become crucial to an individual's safety and recovery. Among other things, those who struggle with mild cognitive impairments may present with difficulty recalling as to when to take their medication. They may struggle with solving problems related to their medical needs or activities of daily living. They may struggle with schedule management, which in turn impairs their participation in both social and medical appointments. A speech therapist and occupational therapist can end up helping you develop routines, reminders, enhance problem-solving skills, or simplify complex tasks to safely support you safely. Exercise your memory, your cognitive skills, and development compensatory strategies and systems to assist with the patient with activity participation. Unlike individuals struggling with progressive disorders, an individual with a mild cognitive impairment has the potential to restore their cognitive function rather than just simply compensate for their deficits. Speech therapy and occupational therapy can help guide and direct this restoration of the function. Thank you.
So as I said earlier, every dementia diagnosis is different. You might see something subtle like finding your keys or your remote in the refrigerator, forgetting where your doctor's office is, or just forgetting that you missed a meal. So it's very important that you take that realization that maybe there could be something that could be happening, because I know saying that you have dementia or memory loss is a very scary situation. And if you're like the rest of us, we always are in denial because that's not me. So if you have any deficits, or no matter how small or large they are, you're welcome to give me a call. We are happy to meet with you and to see if we can provide services based on what you need. So a lot of these conversations are very difficult to have because we need your honest answers and a clear picture of what you're having problems with. And sometimes it's good to have your family involved as well, because having that second set of eyes, they realize things that you might not realize. And we want to make sure that you can do everything that you can. You're here for a reason. You want to enjoy your life, you want to enjoy your children and your grandchildren. And we want to ensure that you can do that. So anytime that you would like to, give me a call. We can set up a session and a visit, or we can just discuss what the options would be available. And I have business cards, and if you need my number, and you can ask me any questions afterwards or at another time. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I think a couple of you out there know who I am, but for those that don't, I'm Lauren Marowitz. I'm the manager of recreation and wellness here at Covenant Woods. I'm just going to do a quick flip of the stage area, if you don't mind. I have a small presentation, so I just wanted to make sure everybody could see the screen. And for those that are watching back at home, I'll try not to move around too much so you can see me in the screen. Yes, the camera is waking up. Ta-da! All right, so I'm gonna ask you a question. I want to hear from you all. What is your idea of brain health? Just shout it out. I'm not gonna walk around and make you all talk into a microphone. Just shout it out and I'll repeat it. How to think. That's a good one. Anybody else? How to what? How to remember. Good. Solving problems. How to act. These are great. All right, those are great ideas. Sometimes I think, what is your idea of brain health? I think of my brain and what it looks like. If I could open my head, what would it look like in there? All right, I'm here to talk to you guys about brain health and why leisure and recreation. So I'm just going to highlight a couple things in each of the domains that recreation tries to plan programs here at Covenant Woods around. Socialization. Now, some of you might be saying, Lauren, I'm an introvert. I really don't like asking my friend to go to dinner with me or meet new people. But just coming today, if you're an introvert and sitting amongst people, that is stimulating your brain. You guys might not think it is, but it really is. It's getting you out of your comfort zone, and it's making new pathways form inside of your brain right now. Also, talking with friends. Andrea, you talked about meeting with your grandson. Socialization is a great key to brain health. It has many other great aspects, one of which is anxiety, depression, helps prevent loneliness, helps prevent all of those things. Mental, reading a new book, taking a class, learning something new, starting a new hobby. One of the things that I will be sharing with you guys later is a new hobby that I'm taking up, which is comedy. So that's helping my brain right now. So one thing I want to point out with that is when you're doing those things, it's helping to keep your synapses synapsing. That is my key sentence there. Physical activity. I know Andrea spoke about not liking to do physical therapy, but just fitness classes here at Covenant Woods that we offer. Walking around the campus. We have a beautiful campus. Things that I like to point out, bird watching and cloud watching. So you're like, Lauren, how is that going to help you during physical exercise? Well, I don't like to just walk. I find it very boring. I like to run instead. But when I'm walking, I like to count the trees. I like to look at the birds and count them. I like to look at the clouds. All of those things are creating new pathways in your brain and helping to protect it. So one thing that I just found out last week when I was at a conference is there is a Cloud Appreciation Society, which is really cool because I love clouds. And it's a free website, cloudappreciationsociety.org. So as I challenge you all, as your new thing to help create new pathways, is to Google Cloud Appreciation Society and check it out. Pretty cool. Spiritual. Covenant Woods has a variety of different spiritual things here for us. Steve does his Vesper service. He also teaches classes throughout the year. We're going to mental, taking a class. You can always take one of Steve's classes. So it all kind of ties together. One thing I want to challenge you guys is, what does spiritual mean to you? Sometimes it could mean going to church. Other times it could mean just meditation. So making sure you know what your spiritual well-being is to you and what that means. All right, now we're going to have some fun. So you're like, Lauren, why am I looking at this picture of Where's Waldo? I haven't done that since my kids were a very long time ago. But one thing that you might be thinking is, wow, that's weird looking trees. Wow, that's a lot of people out there. Wait, where is Waldo? Can anybody just take a few minutes to see if you can find where is Waldo? I know it might be small to you all. I apologize. When I do this with my son, a couple things to keep in mind. You're visually looking for something. You are looking at all the different colors, and you're taking everything in. What is that doing for you? It's helping create those pathways to keep everything sharp. So after a couple minutes, my son Graham goes, Mom, I can't find Waldo. So I say, okay, it's on this side of the page. Because by this time, I think I usually have already found Waldo. So I tell him it's on this page. So breaking things up that are smaller to make them more manageable. So if you're looking for Waldo, I might say, he's on the bottom half of the page. And then he'll be like, okay, I'll look on the bottom half. Mom, I still can't find it. Okay, well, it's in the lower right quadrant. And usually by that time, he's found Waldo. But so sometimes taking tasks like trying to find where Waldo is and breaking it down into simple steps helps as well. So for those that have yet to find Waldo, Waldo is down here in the right-hand corner. Wait, down there. Sorry, Waldo is really tiny. Who's Waldo? Oh, Waldo. Waldo is a character in a book. Sorry, I probably should have put a picture of what Waldo actually looks like. Waldo is typically in blue pants, candy striper shirt, with usually hiking gear. And growing up, when I was a child, we would have Where's Waldo books, typically in like doctor's office waiting rooms, and you would have to look in this sea of people, as you see, or different sceneries. Sometimes he might be on a beach, etc., and you would have to find him. Who can find Waldo first? So that is who Waldo is. All the way up here? I have no idea. Waldo's cousin. There you go. All right. So I'm just going to highlight real quick some of our campus offerings that we have here at Covenant Woods that you can engage in. I want to highlight that we now currently have, where's Mr. Hannon's not here, but Mrs. Hannon's here. We now have 32 resident interest groups here on campus. We just had our 32nd one sign up this week. So that's very exciting. It's ping pong for those that are interested to know what it is. So we have a variety of different things that you guys can engage in. Also different things around campus like the puzzle room, game room, pool room, as well. If you don't know where any of those things are, feel free to contact me, and I'll be more than happy to show you. One thing that's great about brain health is getting outside. If you think of your senses, going outside touches on just about every single one of them, and that helps as well. And we have a great campus to go and do bird watching, walk to go count trees, look at clouds. So we have a variety of different places. And I encourage you to take a screenshot, or if you want a copy of the presentation afterwards, just let me know and try and find all of those things on campus, because that could be something new that you tried this year. All right, so I would like everybody to bear with me for just 1 second and indulge me in participating and watching a couple things. And at the end, I'll explain why we did this. All right. We're only going to watch a little bit of it. I love watching babies laugh. It is quite infectious. All right, here's our next one.
What? Hmm?
That is impressive.
Hmm? Hmm? Hmm?
All right, I have a couple more things to show you or talk to you about. Oh, where'd it go? All right, so like I said, my newfound thing that I've been trying to work on is my comedy. And Tom got a preview a couple weeks ago of this. One of my favorite things is dad jokes. So my kids and my husband around the dinner table will go back and forth who can tell the best dad joke. And this has been my thing. I love telling dad jokes. I want to preface this with, I am also really not good at telling jokes in general. I get so excited, sometimes I just jump to the end and don't give you guys a chance. So you guys are my guinea pig. I have a great audience to try this on. So here goes. Why aren't koalas actual bears? Does anybody want to take a try? They don't meet the qualifications. I know, it's really good. What do Alexander the Great and Winnie the Pooh have in common? Yes, good job. They have the same middle name. Alexander the Great and Winnie the Pooh. And sorry, Stephanie, for this one. I told my physical therapist I broke my arm in 2 places. She told me to stop going to those places. I have 2 more. How do you keep a bagel from getting away? Put locks on it. I know, that one is good too. I thank you. All right, last one. What did the football coach say to the broken vending machine? Scott got this one right away, and I was very upset. Give me my quarterback. Yes, thank you. So if you think about it, all of what I just did, it was a brand new thing in front of a whole new audience. That created so many pathways in my brain to help prevent the deterioration. So why did I just make you watch Laughing Babies? Why did I make you watch random cat videos and dog videos and tell you dad jokes? Because whatever you choose to do, and new hobby or learn about or whatever, be sure it's something you enjoy. Because if it doesn't bring you joy, then it's not going to be for you, and it's not going to help. Does that make sense? So one thing that I noticed while I was up here, when I was doing the videos, you guys laughed so much. That was so great. Think of all of the benefits that just had for you guys. All right? All right, my last plug. If you guys have any more ideas about recreation, or if you guys want to start your own special interest group and add to the more than growing 32 of them, go ahead and email cwrecreation@covenantwoods.com or call the number, and we can get you all set up. Oh, thank you. Where's my spelling mistake? Thank you. Just, hey, good job. He just made his brain powers. His synapses are synapsing. All right. If you guys have any questions, you guys can talk to me afterwards.
Well, that was good. It's always good to laugh. It always makes me feel better. To each and every one of the people who presented, we really do appreciate your... How's that? I see your hand back there. To each and every one of the folks that presented, we really do want to thank them so much for sharing their time and for their expertise. More than likely, you're aware of conversation on the news, newspapers, and other resources focusing on brain health, which is a topic of international concern. Terminology you may have heard are the 6 pillars of brain health. Now, we base the series on current continuing research on this subject, relying heavily on the material and research around AARP's 6 pillars of brain health, the Global Organization for Brain Health, the Cleveland Clinic, the Mayo Clinic, and others. One specific resource that we refer to frequently, and I heard some comments from this book in some of the presentations, was a book by Dr. Sanjay Gupta. You probably have seen him on television. And he is considered an expert in this field, but he also has taken a voyage, I guess you would say, through not being that much interested in it and then having a personal experience. His book explains that, but then it goes into a very easy to read, easy to understand explanation of quite a bit. And at this time, I I want you to know that this is a great resource for you. And I would like for Judy Trueheart from our library committee to come up and to share some information with you about Dr. Sanjay Gupta's book.
Good afternoon. Well, as you can see, we have just, sorry. Thank you. We have a good team of Covenant Woods residents and staff members that just bring all this information, the programs and the activities which support residents' enjoyment and needs. Today's program is a definite need, as we should be striving to keep our sharp brain, or at least keep it as sharp as possible. In cooperation with the Fitness and Wellness Education Committee, a book by one of the leading experts in the field of brain health is being made available to you in our library, and that is the Keep Sharp, Build a Better Brain at Any Age by Dr. Sanjay Gupta. There is a display in the library with the books and the checkout information for the books. Please sign, date, and put the book number on the form, and the book number is on the first page of each book. When you do check it out, please remember that others are waiting, and so if you could read it as soon as possible would help. Preferably, they would like them back within maybe 2 weeks if possible. A copy of the book is on display on the resource table in the lobby when we complete this program. Upon checking, we found that there are 5 copies of this resource book at the Mechanicsville Library. If you do not know where this library is or how to get a library card, a handout is on the reference table as well, and will complete information where the location and the how to acquire a card. Also, if you look at the front page of your April Connections, arrangements are in place for a monthly trip to this location. The first trip is scheduled for this Friday, April the 22nd. The shuttle will leave the Manor main entrance at 10 a.m. and is first come, first served basis. Now a little plug for our library. We have a lovely library with lots of books. We have fiction, nonfiction, large print books, biographies, and magazines and daily newspapers are delivered for your reading pleasure. Anyone wanting a tour or more information about our library, just contact one of the library committee members. And I really hope you get to sign up for one of these books as soon as possible while this is being fresh in our mind. So, thank you.
I would just like to thank everyone for coming out to today's program. The next program is going to be next Wednesday, 3 p.m. Yes, ma'am. Next Wednesday, 3 p.m. right here in the Commons. So I hope that you will join us for our second session. As the people have previously mentioned, we do have a resource table outside, so please stop by. There's a ton of good things about the book as well as other resources that'll be beneficial to you. And before we leave, if Dr. Wright wants to have a few more words, and then we will wrap up.
Thanks, everybody. How about another round of applause for all the presenters and the information? I know I learned an awful lot today. I feel like my mind has been expanded. I laughed a lot. I do appreciate good dad jokes. And as of Friday, I'll have granddad jokes to tell my own grandson. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you for that, Lauren. And we really appreciate the bravery and the transparency of the sharing time that we had and of your journey. I truly do appreciate that. And we look forward to the rest of the sessions. And there's a lot of information, a lot of experts here to tap into. Don't be afraid. Reach out to us. Ask your questions. Get some help. Get informed. I love Dr. Gupta's book. I think that's quite phenomenal. So take some time and read that. I would encourage you. And I always have you on my mind and always in my heart with prayer. So I do pray that each one of us will continue to be well, that we'll be as strong as possible, we'll be as healthy as possible, and that we'll continue in our fellowship and community for a long, long time. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.